The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. Hello, this is Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and you are listening to Itchy and Bitchy, a podcast that provides answers to your many unanswered health questions. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Once again, I want to remind you about my course for perimenopausal women. After speaking with lots of women in this phase of life, I've developed a comprehensive course to help address the symptoms that so many women experience in their 30s, 40s, and early 50s. I would love to talk to you about the course to see if it is the right fit for you. There's a link on our website, itchyandbitchy.com, and our Facebook page, I&B Podcast, where you can schedule an appointment for a Zoom call with me. This is a one-on-one call with me. This is not a webinar. Again, this is a Zoom call with me. When you make an appointment, I will be sitting at my desk waiting for you to join the one-on-one Zoom call. Before we get this episode started, I want to share with you a couple of Apple Podcast reviews we recently received. Tamara12 says, "Thanks for creating this podcast. I just started having my first set of hot flashes. Other than that, I feel tired and crazy all the time. Listening to your podcast is making me feel less crazy and giving me hope. Thanks again." RPH223 says, "Thank you. I just recently heard about the podcast and have started at the beginning. I'm learning so much. Thank you so much for sharing all of this information. Also, thank you for all the belly laughs." I will share some more reviews on our next episode, but thanks to Tamara12 and RPH223 for your kind words, and thank you for listening. We'd love to get your feedback, which you can share on Apple Podcasts or on our Facebook page, IMB Podcast. Okay, now on to our episode about hair loss. Yay! So, I get this complaint a lot from people in the course that I'm doing and patients, so I know it's a hot topic. Let's start by reviewing the stages of hair growth, which happens in 4 stages. The growing phase is called anagen. This is the longest phase of hair growth, lasting anywhere from 3 to 5 years for scalp hair. Very thankfully, hair growth in other parts of the body, like pubic hair or eyebrow hair, has a much shorter growth phase, or you would be braiding hair in those areas. So thankfully, it's a much shorter phase. While in this phase, your hair follicles are pushing out hairs that will continue to grow until they are cut or fall out. About 90% of the hairs on your head are in the anagen or growing phase. The transition phase is labeled catagen. This follows the anagen phase. So when the growing phase ends for a hair follicle, this phase begins, and this is the time when the hair follicle shrinks and growth of the hair slows. In addition, the hair separates from the bottom of the hair follicle but remains in place until the hair growth stops. So it's slowing the growth and then finally stops. This phase lasts about 10 days. Fortunately, only 5% of your scalp hairs are in this phase at any one time. Telogen is the resting phase. It lasts about 3 months, and about 10 to 15% of your hairs are in this phase. The hairs aren't growing during this phase, but new follicles are forming. Also, the hairs are not usually falling out during this phase. Now we get to the shedding phase, otherwise known as the exogen phase. Hair is shedding from the scalp in this phase. Washing and brushing your hair will increase the amount of shedding that is happening, but normal loss is about 50 to 100 hairs a day during this phase, which lasts about 2 to 5 months. Also, new hairs are growing in the follicles as the hair falls out. Because of the timing of these 4 phases of hair growth, if you begin having hair loss, look back 3 to 4 months for a possible trigger. Increase in hair loss is typically not triggered by something immediately before the loss starts. So consider when hair loss begins, what was happening in your life 3 to 4 months prior to the onset of hair loss? Did you have COVID or another physical stressor or an emotional stressor at that time? It is not likely, for instance, that a new med start that was started just a week prior to the onset of hair loss is the culprit. That is not likely to happen unless it's chemotherapy. Chemotherapy aside, just, medications you would get prescribed by your GYN or your PCP, so on. Maintaining healthy hair during these 4 stages involves several things. Now, genetics play a role, and there is nothing to be done about changing your genetics. Hormones also play a role, and working on balance of your hormones, especially your female hormones, can help address hair loss. Other measures include maintain good nutrition, especially adequate amounts of protein in the diet. Hair is mostly comprised of protein, so at least 45 grams a day of protein is recommended to help maintain healthy hair. 45 grams a day at least. Other important nutrients include vitamin D, vitamin C, iron, especially in women who are still menstruating, zinc, L-methylfolate, that's the methylized version of folate, and methyl B12, which again is the methylized version of B12. Some supplements to help address hair loss as we're talking about nutrition. Some supplements that would help one is called Nutrafol Balance. This is formulated for women over 45 years old, and Nutrafol is spelled Nutrafol. The ingredients in this supplement include vitamins, amino acids, adrenal support herbs, and thyroid support. Nutrafol also has a vegan supplement option, which is nice. I always want to mispronounce this, but Viviscal. I always want to say Viviscal, but I think it's Viviscal. Anyway, has hair growth supplements and thickening shampoo, but both contain marine products. The supplements contain shark cartilage and oyster extract. So if you are vegan, this is not the supplement for you. Based on a 2020 study review, saw palmetto could help with hair quality, hair count, and hair density. So taking saw palmetto is another option, and usual dosing is 160 milligrams twice daily. The phytochemical in ginseng may promote scalp hair growth. Ginseng can cause thinning of the blood, so talk to your primary care provider about using this supplement, especially if you are on prescription medications or other supplements that can thin the blood. Many of you out there will be happy to hear that some studies have shown that caffeine can dampen the effects of DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, and we'll talk a little bit about that later in the episode. So it dampens the effects of DHT and prolongs the hair growth phase. So caffeine can prolong the hair growth phase. Also, because caffeine causes dilation of the blood vessels, it can improve blood flow to the scalp, which in turn promotes hair growth. You can make your own caffeinated coffee rinse or buy a caffeine shampoo to apply directly to your scalp as well. So what else can help? Stress reduction. How many times have I talked about stress reduction? I don't know. Many. There are 3 different stress-related conditions that result in hair loss. A condition that doubles or triples hair loss is called telogen effluvium. This condition causes the hair growth cycle to speed up. The amount of time between the growth phase into the resting phase and then onto the shedding phase. So it speeds up each phase. So you begin to have hair loss faster. Another stress-related condition is called trichotillomania. Say that 3 times, which causes a very strong urge to pull out scalp hair or hair located in other parts of the body. So clearly, Our hair has a hard time growing when you're pulling it out all the time. Alopecia areata is the third condition triggered by stress. This is when the immune system in your body attacks your own hair follicle, causing hair loss. Stress reduction techniques like meditation, yoga, counseling, and working toward reducing or eliminating stressors in your daily life will help with hair loss. I'll talk about causes of hair loss other than stress after this break. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. I suspect that many of my listeners are like me in that I spend way more time on others than I spend on myself. Does that sound painfully familiar? How many times have you heard that you need to strive for work-life balance? Can you imagine what your life would be like if you did spend time on yourself versus getting caught up in all the things that other people need? I think that just the thought of it feels freeing. When you give and give and give, do you start feeling burnt out? If you're wondering how to get the tools you need to find more balance in your life, therapy can do that for you. From personal experience, I know that therapy can give you the kind of balance that allows you to support others without leaving yourself in the dust. I'm a family nurse practitioner, as you know, and in my field, it is very easy to find yourself feeling as if you're going to hit an emotional wall and thinking that you can't find your way out of that overwhelming feeling. I know, it's happened to me. Therapy can put the needed tools in your toolbox, including coping skills, setting boundaries, and how to be your best self. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp therapy is entirely online, which makes it convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/itchy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/itchy. So when I was growing up and I needed a snack, I would open a can of kidney beans and eat them straight out of the can. I was pretty darn proud of myself that I could make my own snack, but I didn't have the Yummy Crate from KiwiCo that includes 2 to 3 delicious family-friendly recipes that teach kitchen skills and explore the science of cooking. Your kids can have fun learning to prepare a meal for your whole family. It's a win-win. If you want to encourage creativity and a love for learning in your children, a KiwiCo crate is a must. Each month, KiwiCo delivers crates that cover lots of interesting topics, allowing for exploration of everything from engineering robots to the science of cooking. No need to rummage through the kitchen for a can of kidney beans. There are KiwiCo crates for every age. You know, kids are finishing up the school year and they are heading into the summer months. This is a perfect time to give your child KiwiCo crates that will encourage their love of learning while they are not in school. Do you want to reduce your children's screen time? With KiwiCo, the kids in your life can have the excitement of receiving a kit in the mail each month, and they will enjoy a creative activity. And the kit comes with everything needed to start the project right away. Help your child be a creative, imaginative, and self-confident thinker with KiwiCo crates. Redefine learning with play. Explore hands-on projects that build creative confidence and problem-solving skills with KiwiCo. Get 50% off your first month plus free shipping on any crate line at kiwico.com/itchy. That's 50% off your first month at kiwico.com/itchy. Green Chef is a CCOF certified meal kit company. Green Chef makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, including keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just a more balanced meal option. Are you looking for a high-protein diet? Green Chef has a new collection of high-protein recipes. All of them include at least 40 grams of protein per serving. Green Chef now has over 50 weekly menu and market items, and you can mix and match your order without changing your plan. You can have vegan one day and keto the next day. Green Chef also has quick breakfasts and 10-minute lunches, so you can eat well all day long. You know how I love companies that focus on sustainability. Green Chef has the only meal kit that is both carbon and plastic offset and helps you decrease your food waste by up to 23% versus grocery shopping. Welcome the spring season in by using Green Chef to support your healthy lifestyle. Try their fast and fit recipes that are under 750 calories and ready in 25 minutes or less. You cannot beat that. At our home, we eat a Green Chef meal 3 times weekly, and I have loved all of the recipes. One of my favorites is their Thai coconut chicken soup. I love, love, love that recipe. You've got to try it. Go to greenchef.com/itchy60 and use code itchy60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Go to greenchef.com/itchy60 and use code itchy60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. So on to some other causes of hair loss and some information on how to properly care for your hair and how to prevent or treat some hair loss. So other causes of hair loss include scalp infections. As mentioned earlier, hormone changes, including female and thyroid hormones, can cause hair loss. Medications that are used for high blood pressure, arthritis, depression, and cancer can cause hair loss. Radiation therapy, of course. Certain styling like tight braids and tight ponytails that pull on the hair root can cause hair breakage and hair loss. Smoking is another problem. And hair processing, specifically chemical treatments like perms and hair dyes, are a problem. Some stylists offer products that do not contain ammonia, peroxide, or PPD. So you might seek out someone who uses products that don't contain those harsh chemicals. So how do we properly care for our hair? We'll start by using the right shampoo, not only for your hair type, but those that are designed specifically for hair loss. There is a product called Zenegan, Zenegan, Zenegan Revolve Hair Loss Shampoo for women, and Zenegan Revolve Hair Loss Conditioner, and Zenegan Thickening Serum. These products are pretty pricey, but have been effective with my patients' hair loss in the past. So these products work by lowering DHT, which I mentioned earlier briefly. DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, it lowers that hormone in the scalp. DHT buildup in the scalp is a common cause of hair loss in women. High levels of DHT in the scalp can cause androgenic alopecia, meaning hair loss due to androgen hormones like testosterone or especially DHT. Dermatologists often take a small biopsy of the scalp to determine if someone has androgenic alopecia. Dihydrotestosterone, DHT, converts from testosterone by an enzyme, and DHT is 5 times more potent than testosterone. There are DHT blockers that are a topical option that can really help with hair growth. These are purchased through websites who have a practitioner who will ask you some questions to see if this treatment regimen is a good fit for you. Typically, these products contain minoxidil, which is over-the-counter Rogaine, but in a stronger concentration than the over-the-counter, and finasteride, which is the brand name prescription Propecia. The addition of the finasteride versus minoxidil alone can be very effective in aiding hair growth. You can purchase this topical option through various websites, including a site called Happy Head and Hers, Hers. Finasteride should not be used in women of childbearing years. It is a pregnancy Category X rating, meaning there is high risk of the med causing fetal birth defects. So that's probably one thing they're going to be asking you when you hit these websites. They'll be asking how old you are and if you can bear children at the moment. So the other thing you want to do is treat your hair gently. Gentle treatment of hair includes avoiding very hot water when washing your hair, gently towel drying your hair with a microfiber towel that absorbs more water from your hair. And when hair is wet, it is more fragile. Use a cooler air setting on your blow dryer when drying your hair or allow the hair to dry. There are some other methods to help address or prevent hair loss. Start doing yoga, which by relieving stress can prevent or slow hair loss. Massage your scalp. There was a small study in 2016 in which participants saw hair growth when doing 4 minutes of scalp massage a day over a 24-week period. Using essential oils like thyme oil, chamomile oil, and tea tree oil could improve some hair loss conditions such as androgenic alopecia, psoriatic alopecia, and alopecia areata. Additional oils to try include lavender, peppermint, and lemongrass oils. Make sure to test each of them separately on your skin before mixing them to check for possible allergies. So before you mix up 2 or 3 in an oil mixture to apply to your scalp, test each one of them individually to make sure you tolerate them okay. So this is a good one. Onion juice applied twice daily was seen in a small study to improve alopecia areata. They think this may be due to the sulfur content in onion. I'm thinking that most people are not keen on smelling like onion all day long, every day. But hey, if you want to try it, go for the onion juice. Some medical treatments for hair loss include low-level laser treatments, which can help with hair growth in those with hair loss caused by genetics or chemotherapy. This laser therapy, also called red light therapy, is thought to help by stimulating stem cells in the skin and also slowing the movement from the growing phase to the resting phase of hair growth. The light treatment also appears to have an anti-inflammatory effect on the tissue. These products can be purchased over the counter. Here are 3 devices that have been cleared by the FDA. You should know, however, that the FDA has cleared these devices for lighter skin tones. There were not enough people with darker skin tones who were included in the studies. So the FDA was not able to give clearance for use by people with darker skin tones. Also, this is a device that emits light. So if you have a condition that causes light sensitivity or are taking a med that causes light sensitivity, this is not a recommended treatment for you. Okay, so here are 3 of the red light laser devices that are available, and I'm listing these in no particular order. The first is Lexington Hair Max laser combs, and these were the first FDA-cleared red light laser devices to treat hair loss in the United States. The manufacturer recommends using it for 11 minutes 3 times per week. And the cost on the manufacturer website is $199, but I see that you can find it online on other sites for around $160. A second device is iRestore, like iPhone, iRestore Laser Hair Growth System. It is a helmet device that you wear for 25 minutes every other day. The upside of this device is that it's hands-free, unlike the laser comb. The iRestore device retails for $695, but right now at the iRestore website, I just checked, they have a Father's Day special that gives $200 off that device. The third one I'm sharing with you is called iGrow. Again, like iPhone, iGrow Hair Growth Helmet. And it provides full scalp coverage and has earphones attached. The manufacturer recommends wearing the hands-free helmet for 25 minutes every other day for maximum results. It works in a similar way as the iRestore helmet, but has a slightly different design and is less expensive than the iRestore. On Amazon, it is around $450. As with any potential treatment or new product, you need to manage your expectations and know that a helmet or comb that is red light therapy won't provide instant growth. And that's because of the hair cycle phases. That's why I explain those to you. The biggest difference between treated and non-treated people in studies occurred over the course of 3 months. So you might not see benefit of the device for 3 months after starting, and maximum results are at about 6 months. So after 6 months of recommended use of the product, you should continue using the product once or twice a week to maintain the new growth, but the improvement will likely plateau. Another medical treatment option is the use of platelet-rich plasma, PRP, and that is injected into your scalp, and it can stimulate growth in areas where there has already been hair loss. Dermatologists and hair loss clinics who do this procedure draw your blood, centrifuge the blood to separate out the plasma, and then inject it into the scalp. The price of the procedure runs about $1,500 to $3,500, depending on where you live, for the first 3 treatments, and is not likely to be covered by insurance. I know that hair loss, especially in women, can be very distressing for the person, but there are a lot of options available to help with hair growth. However, you may have to use more than one option to get the job done. Many thanks to Green Chef, KiwiCo, and BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. I encourage you to visit our Facebook page, IMB Podcast, where you can leave comments or questions for me. Our website is itchyandbitchy.com. There are blogs on the site with some of our subjects available for you to read. On the Facebook page and website, we have the information about how to schedule an appointment with me. Again, this is not a webinar. This is with me, so that we can chat about how my perimenopause course can help you if you are going through this phase of life. As always, thanks to Forrest Winsel, our producer and composer of our theme music, and the person who literally makes this podcast possible. Check out his album called An Awful Lot. Go to wherever you stream your favorite music to listen. And if you don't know where to stream music by now, you can find the album on Apple Music or Spotify. Remember that your health is in your hands.